Come on, where is it?
Dave, it's your Idaho Central app here. Any chance you're missing a debit card? Let's get that taken care of for you. With ICCU's card control, you can turn any card off with the tap of your finger.
You got it.
And back on again. Ow, 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 ow. The closest Idaho Central Credit Union branch is in your pocket.
Ooh, the gym. My old stomping grounds. Hank Patterson, Fly Fishing Guide.
Riley Smith, tight end.
Yeah, I appreciate that. Hey, you wouldn't happen to be the kicker?
No, tight end.
Again, thank you. I'm looking for a kicker for Lithia Ford's fall kickoff sale. But you're not the kicker.
No.
Yeah, the kicker's probably taller and in a lot better shape. So, okay. What position do you play?
Tight end.
Squats. Yeah, try it sometime.
RowPaint.com, the official paint and coatings company of Boise State Athletics, is going all in this season with an all-star lineup. First up, he led the Broncos to 3 conference championships and 10 20-win seasons. It's Coach Leon Rice. Next, he's the founder and CEO of RowPaint.com. He played a little basketball in high school on the driveway with his mom. It's Andy Rowe.
Oh, no. Want to just paint my house?
Now that I can do. When I want Boise State to win, I trust Coach Rice to lead the Broncos to victory.
And when I want the best painting and garage floor coating, I trust rowpaint.com to get that job done right.
Welcome to the Lithia Ford of Boise pregame show from Bronco Nation News as we get you set for the latest news, insight, and analysis as game time approaches. The BNN pregame show is presented by Lithia Ford of Boise. Check out LithiaFordBoise.com to view the full inventory of vehicles or check them out at 8853 West Fairview in Boise. Today's broadcast is coming from the Cutwater Spirits Canned Cocktail Studios. Check out one of their more than 30 flavors of pre-mixed premium cocktails at your local gas station or grocery store. Now, let's head out and join BJ Rains for the Lithia Ford of Boise pregame show from Bronco Nation News.
Well, greetings, Boise State fans, and welcome to the Arena-Auditorium here in Laramie, Wyoming. Crowd just starting to file in here for this one. 7,220 feet of elevation. It's posted on the signs outside the locker room. It's posted on the court. The Broncos getting up some shots, going with the all-black uniforms tonight as they try to get a big road win here in Laramie, Wyoming against the Wyoming Cowboys. This is the Lithia Ford of Boise, a pregame show presented by rowpaint.com, and we welcome you in up here. They got us a little higher than usual, Abe Jackson. We're kind of in the, not as bad as some, as you said, though, but we had to give you a second to catch your breath. A little, that elevation's real, man.
You said that it's posted on the floor, it's posted in the locker room. It was posted in my lungs about 10 minutes ago trying to hike up here, man. You can feel it. You could definitely, I don't really feel it at Fort Collins or at in Colorado Springs, which I think are around, 5,000, close to that mile, 5,280. But you get to 7,220, and man, you could feel it just going up the stairs. Granted, we'll be honest, I'm not in peak
neither am I
right now.
Neither am I.
But no, it's something that they remind you of. For sure.
No doubt about it. I got a little workout in today, and I was feeling it for about 2 hours. I mean, it is a real deal, and I know that Leon Rice has a system. He, some of it's for fun, the altitude machine, the little blower they put at practice, the beet juice they drink. Some of it is real, or it's mental, but some of it is real in terms of him going to the bench a little more often. Sure. Like they're 6-1 in their last 7 games here. They've figured something out, and Leon Rice has a pretty good system dealing with this altitude.
Yeah, he does, and I think one of the main things to going 6-1 is that you probably look at those games and Boise State has probably had the better team in each one of those games, but still you go on the road and to get the job done at that kind of clip in a place that is notoriously tough to play. You see teams come here every single year that are favored, and then they come out of Laramie with a loss. So the Broncos have done well. They're a mentally strong team. This coaching staff, I think, is really locked into the players, and the players locked into the coaches. So I think they're going to be ready. I don't see why this will be any different than those other 6 wins they've had here.
All right, now big news in the Mountain West Conference happening just about an hour ago, where New Mexico falling at home to Air Force. Boise State players, coaches, all well aware of that. And Abe, we'll get to what that means in the standings here in a second. But what do you think that does to a Boise State team that comes in here and wants to take care of business in terms of now seeing that, just as they're on the bus coming over here, anybody can literally beat anybody in this conference on any given night.
And I think what it does is, you hear coaches say things like that all the time. And as a player, you're like, I know, I'm going to be locked in. And they usually are with this Boise State team. But now there is really something physically in front of you that you said that, yes, anybody can beat anybody on a given night. And the Broncos are going to be seeing those Air Force Falcons on Tuesday here in a couple days. So, I think that probably that win by the Falcons helps the Broncos lock in even more to play against a tough kind of offense, a team that has struggled all year, but their 2 wins have come on the road, beating very solid teams. UNLV they beat by 30. Then they just knocked off New Mexico, who now in the standings, what you're going to go over, they're looking like they might not even get a bye in the Mountain West tournament because they have a tough schedule coming up.
No doubt about it. They dropped to 9-6 in league play. They are now sitting in the number 6 spot. And I know there's still a lot to shake out, but you want Boise State's got 4 losses right now. You want as many teams with 6+ losses as you can to try to, assure yourselves of at least getting that first round bye. And now you've already got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 teams down there. So I think if Boise State only loses 1 game the rest of the way, they'd be assured of getting a bye, which is a big deal.
Oh, it's a huge deal. And I don't know if there's a lot of years where I would say this about the Mountain West tournament, but you always want to be the 1 seed, right? You're the best team in the conference in the regular season. After that this year, just get a bye, right? 2nd, 3rd, 4th, 5th. I don't really think it matters too much because these teams are so close. You just want to get that bye. You want to make sure that don't have to play 4 games in 4 days to get to that championship. And I think the loss with New Mexico and then a win here against Wyoming would inch the Broncos even closer to getting that bye. And I think if they get a win, it would take quite a few losses in these last few games, I think, for the Broncos to slip out of the bye.
We see Andrew Meadow there taking some shots. We saw Jace Whiting there stretching a second ago. And 41 points the last 2 games, Abe. And again, we're visiting with Abe Jackson. You'll hear him and Bob Beeler coming up in about 18 minutes or so over on 670 KBOI. But Abe, the bench, 41 points in the last 2 games. It's been, something that we talked about all season. Where's the bench? Where's the bench? Where's the bench? 18 and then I think 23 in the last game. And as I said earlier, in a game like this, I mean, that's got to be a great feeling for Leon, knowing he's gotten some recent production from the bench, knowing that he is probably going to call on them more than usual in this game.
Yeah, the players have some confidence, and then probably even more importantly, the coaches have confidence in the players. You hear Coach Rice talk about that sometimes on the post games or on your show when you ask him about the bench play, and he's like, hey, they got to prove it to me in practice and in the games that they can go out there, and they definitely did the last 2 games. Now, granted, it was against Fresno State and against San Jose State, but the Broncos won each of those by about 30, and the bench was a huge part of that. The bench will be a huge part of this game as well. 7,220 feet. You try not to think about it when you're out there playing, but there's going to come some times, especially if some of those timeouts or those dead balls take a little bit longer in between. You'll feel it a little bit, and you'll need to rely on that bench.
We see Max Rice getting some shots up there after his slow start. He continues to really get it going from deep. I think he's, almost last 7 or 8 games, about 50% from 3, and, a confident Max Rice and a guy that's hitting shots. I mean, this looks like the Max Rice we expected to see the entire season, and he's having a heck of a stretch here.
I think this team goes as far as the outside shooting goes, and that starts with Max and, of course, Chibuzo, because the inside guys have shown in Stanley and Degenhardt, and really Martin, too. He comes in, he doesn't do so much the scoring, but the production that he gives you has been solid. The inside guys have shown you that they are there every night and can give you the good percentages and the rebounds in the 12 to 16 points. When the outside shooting is on, I think Boise State's the best team in the league. I really do. If Chibuzo and Max are shooting the ball well, then you got the big guys that are inside rebounding and scoring. They're also really good passers to kick it out. So You get this outside shooting going, and I think this team could go a long way.
Tyson Degenhardt as well, over 17 points a game now in conference play. It's going to be really hard, and whenever that vote comes to try to find 5 players for the first team, there's legitimately 7, 8, 9, 10 guys that deserve to be on it.
Yeah.
I think obviously where Boise State finishes in the standings could have an impact on that. But certainly he's now playing at a first-team all-league type level.
He is, and you could put him in the conversation as player of the year as well with the kind of numbers and the shooting percentage that he's putting up. I think you're right, though. A lot of it determines on where you end up. Let's say Utah State wins out and Boise State wins out, right? We'd end up as a tie, but Utah State would have the tiebreaker, so they would win. A lot of times you see, of course, the best player on the team that is the regular season championship, we would get the player of the year. Osobor, he's one of those guys that's almost a lock for first team as well. It's going to be interesting when those votes come out because, like you said, there are probably 10 players in the league that you could make a strong argument that they should be considered on the top 5 in the first team.
Tell us about Wyoming. Obviously come in 13-13. They're 6-7 in league play. They've got, some very talented guards. The Tulsa transfer, Sam Griffin, over 17 points a game. They've got the NAIA, I think, National Player of the Year that came in that's doing some things on the inside as well. Mason Walters. So they've got some guys. And, again, they've come in here and beat Nevada. They've come in here and beat Colorado State. Now, granted, it was a miracle finish there that led to the Colorado State comeback. But I think that's another reason Boise State sees, like, hey, they've beaten some teams in here. You got to bring it. This Wyoming team plays much better at home.
Much better at home, yes. And I think Air Force is a little bit of an anomaly where their only 2 wins have been on the road.
Yeah.
But Air Force, like majority of other teams, play better at home. They have some big guys inside that have some length, and we have seen some athletic bigs give the Broncos some fits in some other games.
Yep.
And so they have 6'10", 6'9" inside that can really move. Powell is a very athletic big guy who can get up. Then you have Wenzel, who kind of reminds me a little bit like Maldonado. Maybe not so much of an old man game as Maldonado had, but Wenzel is a guy who can score. He's averaging in the teens, and he's gone off for some big nights in this building.
Again, you see the Boise State Broncos warming up, going with the black uniforms today. How big is this game, Abe? Just it's a game again. They're favored by like 6.5. They're supposed to win, but we see what happened with New Mexico. But, I mean, if Boise State wants to get that bye, wants to have a chance to win this conference, tonight and Tuesday are games you just have to have.
You do, and we've had that conversation before this 4-game stretch started, before that Fresno State game, is that these games are almost more important to win than going on the road to one of these high net ranking teams, because you go on the road, you win or you lose. You lose, you might not go down that much, but you lose to one of these teams that you're expected to beat, and by 6 or 7 points on their home court, you lose that game, and you could go down in the rankings, not just the Mountain West, but the overall. I mean, the Broncos are at a phenomenal net ranking right now. Is it 35?
Yep.
I think that's what it was. So,
yep.
Yeah, keep that, have a good performance here, and then go take care of business at Air Force. Now, once you're done with that Air Force game, now it really starts to ratchet up a little bit. A couple home games, New Mexico and Nevada, and then finish senior night in Viejas against San Diego State. I'm looking forward to that.
All right.
I know Coach Rice doesn't like to look one game ahead, but I love it.
Quickly, because we got to get you down with Bob and get you on the air here in about 15 minutes, but quickly, your keys to tonight's game.
Well, I think you have to shoot the ball well from 3, and the Broncos have done that in the last few games, and then also the bench play. We touched on that. This environment, the last 2 games, they've shown very effective coming off the bench. I think that if you get some production around that 12 to 15-point margin from the bench, I think the Broncos are going to come out on top.
Hey, appreciate it. Thank you so much. Appreciate your time. Get your score predictions in, your comments, your thoughts, your shout-outs. Let us know where you're watching the game from tonight. We're going to take a quick 90-second timeout, and we'll show you warm-ups live. We'll hear from Jeff Linder, hear from Leon Rice. A ton still to get to. We're back in 90 seconds here on the Lithia Ford Boise pregame show here in Laramie. All Bronco Nation news broadcasts come from the Cutwater Spirits Canned Cocktail Studios. Check out one of their more than 30 flavors of premix premium cocktails at your local gas station or grocery store. Cutwater Spirits, perfect for your next game day tailgate party. Our title sponsor is rowpaint.com. For all your commercial, industrial, residential painting needs, check out rowpaint.com. Don't forget about their concrete coatings. Transform that ugly concrete slab on your back patio in your garage in just one day. Contact rowpaint.com for a free estimate today. The official paint and coatings company of Boise State Athletics, and our title sponsor at Bronco Nation News is rowpaint.com. Idaho Central Credit Union's been helping members achieve financial success for more than 80 years. There's an ICCU branch on almost every corner, but the closest is in your pocket with free eBranch mobile and online banking. See why more than 500,000 members love ICCU, and join 1 in 4 Idahoans by making the switch today at ICCU.com. Since 1984, Ridley's Family Markets has prided itself on being a hometown food and drug store that employed value members of the local community. Ridley's Family Markets has 13 locations in the state of Idaho and many more in the surrounding states. Download the new Ridley's app to your smartphone, get savings up to 40% off at the checkout line, and find a location near you at shopridleys.com. Former Bronco Matt Bauscher is once again the number one ranked realtor in the Treasure Valley. No home is too big or too small for Matt and his team. Let them fulfill all your real estate needs at BauscherRealEstate.com. Back here live on the Lithia Ford of Boise pregame show from the Cutwater Studios. This video just a short time ago of the Broncos warming up here at the Arena-Auditorium. Decent crowd, not a huge crowd expected for tonight's game. Boise State and Wyoming, a big one in the Mountain West. And again, we're taking your score predictions, your comments. I want to see who's the furthest away. We got Ken watching in from Lebanon, Tennessee, so far as our winner. Oh, Ben takes that now. Tampa, Florida. Go Broncos. Ben, appreciate you for watching. Keep getting those shout-outs in. We'd love to know where you guys are watching from, where the reach of Bronco Nation News can go. You see Roddy Anderson there. That's going to be a key to tonight's game because you wonder with all Jeff Linder and how he likes to do things defensively. They got to pick their poison here, and you wonder if Roddy Anderson's the guy that maybe they don't guard as much. And we'll see if he gets a chance to hit some open shots in this one because I think Anderson's a guy that at times when he's been open has hit some big threes for this team. Somebody's going to have a big game tonight. Maybe it will be Roddy Anderson. We bring you in live here from our little media perch up here in the corner of the arena. Not a bad seat, to be honest with you. We're not courtside, but it's not a terrible spot. So we appreciate you guys for watching us here on the Lithia Ford of Boise pregame show. We got Lima, Ohio. We got Baltimore, Maryland, Charlotte, North Carolina, Cleveland, Texas. Man, pretty cool to see the reach of Bronco Nation News and where you guys are all watching the show from here. We're giving a $20 gift card away to whoever has the closest score prediction in the YouTube chat. So get your score predictions in, and then whoever has the closest score prediction, we will give a $20 gift card to Taco Bell, which works anywhere in the country. I think we've figured out this is not the real Spencer Danielson. I asked him, but he's watching from Boise, Idaho. Let's go Broncos. Appreciate you, Spencer. But I think we have debunked that that's not the actual Spencer Danielson. But this is our look here. We're kind of about halfway up the seating area, and we're in the corner. So this is the view that we're going to have. I know there were some folks earlier commenting on some of the banners. They've got a CBI national championship in 2017. I'm okay. You win a national championship CBI, you can put a banner up for that. But the one next to it, the years they've been in the CBI, not quite sure that results in needing a banner up at the top of the arena. I guess I can move this up so you guys can see what I'm talking about there. They got the arenas at the top, the banners. They were the Helms Foundation national champions in 1934, the NCAA national championship appearance in 1943. Made the Sweet 16 in 1987. 1986, they were the NIT runner-up. So they've got some history here in terms of Wyoming basketball. And obviously, it's been a rough go at times this year. Last year, a lot going on for Jeff Linder and his team. Didn't have Graham Ike last year, and they certainly struggled. But this year, they've snuck up on some teams. Again, they've already beaten teams like Colorado State. They've beaten Nevada. And now you see in the Mountain West, and again, my understanding is these guys were on the bus following that game. May have even had it on TV, so they were well aware of the end of that New Mexico Air Force game. And I think all that does is really lock you in, because if you're Leon Rice, all you got to say in your pregame meeting is, hey, this can literally happen to anybody. You just saw it happen to a team that Air Force had one conference win. So I think it locks you in tonight, and I also think it focuses you up for Tuesday when you go play at Air Force. You know, maybe they were going to be 1-12 in league, and Boise State had already beaten them by 30, and now you're like, no, they just won at the pit. Like, they're playing good. They've got some good players. It ain't going to be like it was when we beat them by 30. So probably helps focus Boise State in a little for both of these next two games. Denise is still watching from Caldwell. We appreciate you, Denise. Jeff Linder and Leon Rice both talked to the media. Who do we want to hear from first? Let's go Jeff Linder. Jeff Linder talked about Boise State's team and his thoughts on the Broncos, and it all starts with Tyson Degenhart.
Well, I mean, obviously, you know, with Degenhart, I mean, that goes without saying. I mean, ever since he got pushed into that starting lineup after about 6 or 7 games, after probably the Bakersfield loss a couple of years ago or whatever that loss was. I don't know, maybe it was South Dakota State, but but that's where, I mean, obviously, I mean, he's a lot like, having been in Boise during the Kellen Moore era. He's kind of the Kellen Moore version of Boise State basketball. I mean, just, his impact on winning and understanding what it takes to win, I mean, is as good as I've seen. And so obviously, him, his experience, Max, I mean, he's played in so many games, so many big games. I mean, he's probably, other than probably the BYU guys, I mean, he's probably the third, fourth oldest player in the country. But, obviously, he's been in so many games and his feel for the game. And that's where probably as a team overall, I mean, when you got Dagenhart and Max, I mean, the overall, team IQ, and then you add a guy like Agbo, and I think Stanley, I mean, I think that's where he kind of started, getting thrust in there a lot like Dagenhart when his minutes started going up and he started feeling more comfortable. I think that's when you kind of started them to see them kind of start making a big step in the direction that they've gone now. I mean, Stanley, obviously, from a body standpoint, athletically, skill wise, I mean, he's obviously, I think, better than what a lot of people thought from a skill standpoint, his ability to play off the bounce and then to, make shots. I mean, I think that just added another element to it. And so, and then Agbo obviously is just a really tough shot maker. And so, you got to do a really good job in terms of, you're not going to stop everything, but, you got to make things difficult. You got to be able to minimize 3 attempts from some of those guys, especially with Agbo and Rice. And then, they're such a good rebounding team, in which we've been a good rebounding team as well, which, same system that was taken from Boise, that was taken from Gonzaga, that was taken from Michigan State. That's what allowed both of us to be good rebounding teams, just because of the emphasis we put on it. And so, you can't allow them to get second chance opportunities and dominate you on the offensive boards. And so we're going to have to do a really good job there.
There he is, Jeff Linder. And again, he was on Bronco Nation News live on Friday. We appreciate him for coming on with Jay Tust and I. And you can watch that full interview when we're done with the pregame show here before we go live. A couple stats I want to give to you guys, and we're going to hear from Leon Rice. How about this? Boise State, Coach Leon Rice, he's 13-2 against his former assistant coaches when they're a head coach. He was, he's 6-1 against Jeff Linder, and he was 7-1 against Dave Wojcik at San Jose State. So 13-2, Boise State is Leon Rice against his former assistants. Boise State also 15-9 on the road in Mountain West play the last 3 seasons. That is best in the league. And again, if you read my story this morning, you can go to BroncoNationNews.com and read it if you haven't yet. But Boise State 6-1 in their last 7 games here at the Arena-Auditorium, and they are 9-4 all time playing here. I guess since they joined the Mountain West in 2012, they're 9-4 under Leon, playing here at Wyoming. So whether it's the beet juice, whether it's all the various stuff, they've obviously figured some things out, and it's working very, very well for Boise State and for Leon Rice. And again, a lot of it's kind of psychological, the beet juice. They take a shot of that every road game now, but it's supposed to do something to help you and help you breathe a little easier. And then Leon Rice has a little altitude machine that he calls it. It's like a blower that if you're needing to dry the floor or dry the carpet in your house, you have one of those big blowers. He rolls it out to practice, writes altitude machine on the side. They turn it on and tell them that it's having them simulate, higher altitude for practice. And believe it or not, there's some players that fall for it. So it's mostly mental. But Wyoming does a good job of putting it out there on the court. It says 72-20 on the court. They, before tip-off, have a siren and say you're now entering, all this airspace level and you're well over a mile above sea level, and you could, all this stuff that could happen to you. So I did not know that, by the way, but I'm very happy to hear that. Kansas up 20 at the half. I was going to watch that later tonight, but I'm certainly very happy to see that. That's a great score as an alma mater of KU. So Jeremy's watching 3 blocks from the James. Appreciate you, Jeremy. You should be at the James watching. They probably have this on there. But we're seeing a lot of other score predictions coming in, so keep those coming. We appreciate that. And again, Leon Rice has had some success here at Wyoming. I do want to tell you about a couple of our great sponsors. Then we're going to hear from Leon Rice here, a little more from Jeff Linder as well. We'll show you when the Broncos come back out on the court. But this pregame show brought to you by Lithia Ford of Boise. They got 5 NIL deals with student athletes. They're supporting Boise State. They're supporting Bronco Nation News. Return the favor. Check them out. View their full inventory of vehicles at LithiaFordBoise.com. And when you're when you're looking for a new vehicle, I hope you choose Lithia Ford. Boise.com. And again, it's a very easy process. View that inventory of vehicles and then test drive the one you want. You can do what the Raines family did. We purchased our F-150 from Lithia and could not be happier. How about a job? How about free food? How about your pay the next day after your shift? Taco Bell, SON Management Group, the Nicolason family, that's what they're doing. The very next day after your shift, TacoBellWorks.com. Get more information. You get half your pay the next day, free food while you work. And oh, by the way, they're supporting Boise State by donating hundreds of thousands of dollars to student-athlete scholarships. So return the favor to them. And again, get some food at Taco Bell. And if you want a job, TacoBellWorks.com. The Blue and Orange Store, theblueandorangestore.com. Check them out if you need some new Boise State gear. They're on the second floor of the Boise Town Square Mall there next to Pro Image. But if you're not in the area, it's free shipping. Any order over $40 if you order online at theblueandorangestore.com. But again, shirts, jerseys, caps, you name it, they got it at the Blue and Orange Store. And again, check them out online at theblueandorangestore.com. If you need a job, how about transcompservice.com? You want to get into the trucking industry? That'd be a excellent idea. Transcompservice.com. Get into the trucking industry. They can help you with the permits and all the things you need to get out there towing that first load in no time. So check them out, transcompservice.com, and you will not be disappointed. And they're a very good locally owned company. It's a national company based in with Jeff Meinert here in the Boise area. So check them out, transcompservice.com. We appreciate them for their support of Bronco Nation News as well. We bring you back here courtside. I guess we're not courtside. We're up a little in the corner. We're in the corner side of the arena. But Leon Rice, he talked to the media about Wyoming, about the challenges of playing there. Let's hear from Leon Rice while we wait for the Broncos to come back out on the court. Here's Leon Rice on the challenge of going to Laramie and playing against the Wyoming Cowboys and Jeff Linder.
It starts, think about the lineage of coaches that I've seen there, great coaches. Now Linder's there, and you got great players. And then you got, altitude is always a factor, and it's real. People, there's some teams that can deal with it better than others, and some teams I've had that deal with it better than others. But playing at altitude presents some certain challenges.
This time of year, you're usually facing teams for the second time. What's the challenges right now? Just not having seen them, not having played them against.
Yeah, it's but we're at this time of year. The crossover is so much that I think I've probably watched every one of their games. Because you're playing all the teams they played. You're watching all their games. You just watch every Mountain West game, and so now, but our guys aren't as familiar as our coaching staff, and so you got to get them up to speed on their guys. When you're playing a team the second time, these guys have guarded these guys already, and there is a big difference that way. So we got to get up to speed in a hurry.
Like many teams, Wyoming's played better at home than they have on the road. So as you look at them, what have they been able to do at home? What makes them a better home team?
I just think you could say a general statement that is usually true with every team is teams shoot the ball. They're comfortable in their own surroundings and their own. So, their teams have historically relied on the three a lot. And so if they're making a lot of threes, they can beat anybody.
They got a couple of better guards in the league, too.
Yeah.
What stands out about them?
Well, they're just ballers. Linder is good at finding ballers. And these guys, they've hit game winners. They've had huge numbers on nights. And they got a number of guys that can really fill it up.
It seems like they some fans, I'd say whatever, would use the dreaded word trap game. But with your guys and the focus and where it is at the end of the season, where you're at this point in the season, and who's already won there, it doesn't seem like that would be a thing.
You would absolutely hope not. And the way we've approached these last two games, you could say that those were trap. You'd say they fit the same criteria. Now this one's on the road, so that has a little different to it. But this time of year, you could say that almost about every game, except for maybe the last couple or whatever, senior nights and things like that. So that could not be an excuse for us, and it won't be, and I don't see that in my team.
We talked about the 41 points the last two games from your bench. With the elevation and all that stuff, the next two games, the highest two in college basketball elevation-wise, how much will you lean on your bench a little more maybe in these two games?
Yeah, you hope to get a ton out of them, and we've seen progress there, so that's promising. And, if you study what I've done in the past at those places, I've usually leaned on the bench, and there's been guys that came in and really helped us and had huge games in those nights. So
when you say you lean, go ahead.
I was just going to ask you about that because you do really early in games at times go to the bench and everyone's like, Devin or Retrieve now? Oh, this guy now? What is it about how you've figured out a plan there, because you guys have played pretty well there.
Yeah, we do. You have to have a different system there. And I learned that. You go way back to my days at Gonzaga when we played Wyoming in Albuquerque, and we had an injury, so we were down to about 5 or 6 guys, and we skipped a media timeout, and we never recovered. Our starting 5 never recovered. In fact, Coach Few and I were young coaches, and Billy, and they skipped the first media, got to about the 12-minute mark, finally had a horn, we subbed a bunch of guys in, and we look out, play starts, and we look out there, and we had 4 guys out there. Nobody else had enough energy to keep going. We played an NCAA tournament game for a minute or 2 with 4 guys. How about that? Yeah.
Anything else you guys do to kind of prepare?
So I learned from that, and it's.
But it would seem like earlier in the game though that like the guys, they don't feel it till the end, so maybe they feel fresh at the 8-minute mark of the first half or whatever. But that's when you have to plan ahead. Okay, there's 20 more minutes.
Yeah, but there's other things to it that.
Yeah.
We have a secret formula that I can't tell anyone that obviously works.
Anything else you
Because
guys-
everyone copies it. I see other teams saying, "Oh, we drink beet juice." I wonder where that came from, huh? Yeah.
We're also part of not wanting to make it too big of a deal though, where it's like psychological.
Right, but so I'd rather err on the side of talking about it and understanding what your mind has to be ready to do and how to do it, and giving them a process of how we do it, and then the way we go.
Do you bring out the elevation machine in practice like you used
We
to?
do. We bring the elevation machine. That's right.
Leon Rice meeting with the media before they left town. Now you see a live look down on the court. Boise State going with the all-black uniforms. 22 minutes from tip-off, and this is your crowd right now. So definitely not going to be a full crowd. The upper levels don't have anybody really in them at all behind the baskets. There's some on the sides, but they're expected somewhere between 4,000 and 5,000 probably. But not expected to be a huge crowd unless it's very late arriving here at the Arena-Auditorium. Mark's got 71-60 as we look at some of the score predictions here. 75-60. We got 84-75 as Bronco 130 chiming in. Chad's got 81-64. Jeremy has 87-66. 78-62 for Denise. By the way, if I don't put your score prediction on the screen, but you got it in there, that still counts. I don't have time to get all of them in there. We got 135 of you watching this right now. Ben's got 69-62. 79-63. Boise State cruises. How about that? Let's see. 81-67. Jason says, which conference tournament matchup would Boise State like to avoid? They're all the teams are good, so I don't think you'd love playing UNLV on their home floor, but would you love playing New Mexico or Colorado State or Nevada or any of those teams? I don't think you'd love playing most of the teams in the league, but that's just the way it goes with the scheduling and things like that. Jeff Linder, again, he came on with Jay Tuss tonight. There's about 21 minutes on the clock here as the crowd files in. Again, please subscribe if you can, $50. And we're going to hear from Jeff Linder again in just a second. We're not going anywhere, but just want to throw a plug in. You see it at the bottom of the screen. $50 for a 1-year subscription. This is a $1,500, just to be completely honest, a $1,500 plus trip when you're talking 5 nights hotel, rental car, gas, food, to be able to come to Laramie and then stay on the road and cover the game on Tuesday at Air Force. We'll have live show from the team hotel on Monday morning at 9 a.m. We'll have expected to have a player or coach join us. We'll have the pre and post game show Tuesday from the Air Force Academy. But other than Abe and Bob, we're the only local media outlet that made the trip here. So again, I'm not saying that to brag or put down the other outlets, but we're putting in the money to be here and provide this coverage. And if there was any way you could help us out with a subscription, we would certainly love to have you. Again, $50 all it takes, a one-time fee. You get a daily email, exclusive stories, content, the chance to win some giveaways and things, and all kinds of perks that come with being a subscriber. So if you can do it, we'd love you to have you. $50 for a one-time year. If the monthly option is better for you, we do offer a $6.99 monthly option as well. So sign up if you can. We'd love to have you. And again, make plans to join us for the pool party. Email and I'll get you free entry. Rains@BroncoNationNews.com. I'll let you skip the cover charge, get in for free. Got to be 21, though. Can't bring kids. Stadium swim in Las Vegas, Circa Resort and Casino, semifinal Friday of the Mountain West Tournament. Friday, March 15th, 10 a.m. to 5 p.m. We'll be out there all day, giveaways, a free raffle, food and drinks for subscribers. We'll have all kinds of stuff. Johnny and Prater are doing their show from 2 to 5. There's going to be a lot of craziness in the pool there. We get a private pool for BNN folks, so make plans to join us. It's going to be a lot of fun. We're taking it over. We get a private pool for the BNN group. So email me if you're coming. Let me know. I'll get you on the list. Rains@BroncoNationNews.com. And if you still need a place to stay, by the way, we have some limited rooms available at Circa with 15% discount. If you send me an email, Rains@BroncoNationNews.com, I'll send you the 15% off for Circa and also for the D, which is their sister property across the street. That's more affordable, but not as nice as Circa. So reach out to me and let me know. By the way, our third annual golf tournament, the Bronco Nation News Golf Tournament to benefit the Idaho Youth Sports Commission, is coming on May 31st. It's the Friday after Memorial Day. We would love to have you join us May 31st. If you played last year, send me an email and I'll reserve you a spot. We'll open up the regular registration in a couple of weeks. So again, if you already played, we'll save you a spot by emailing me. Whole sponsorships also open. That's one way to also guarantee yourself a spot because it's going to sell out this year. We have packages which come with a whole sponsorship and a foursome. So reach out to me if you're interested, and we'll get that going here in the near future. We'll probably put the regular general admission foursomes on sale after the season ends, and that's going to be 8:30 for the morning flight, and we have an afternoon flight as well at 1:30. So play in one or the other or play in both if you'd like. Love to have you. Live look here at the Arena-Auditorium. We have a little bit of royalty in the house tonight when it comes to the officiating. I'm trying to find my text here with the officiating. This is kind of a cool story. One of the officials tonight is a female, and her name is Crystal Hogan. And Crystal Hogan was the first female official to ever officiate a Division I men's game. That came back in 2018, I believe it was. So 2018, Crystal Hogan was the first female to officiate a Division I men's game. It happened, I believe, in the WCC. I saw Gloria Navarez spoke after the game about how great it was. And she's worked her way up and is now doing some Mountain West games, doing some other conferences around the country. So Crystal Hogan is one of the officials tonight. That's the good news. The bad news, Kirk Smith, one of the officials, was the official that teed up Leon Rice in the Utah State game. So Kirk Smith teed up Leon Rice in the Utah State game, and he is one of the officials tonight. So we'll see if there's any bad blood that carries over there. But that's the bad news. Frank Harvey is your lead official. He's like number 170 at Ken Palm. So it's a Saturday. There's a lot of games. This is not your grade A officiating crew. Just going to throw it out there. But it is what it is today. And Chad's asking if we run out of foursome spots, are we going to have some raffles, general admission ticket? We're actually looking to have an event the night before, where we may offer some limited tickets for that, where you'll hear some of the coaches and players actually speak and do the speeches and things like that. Last year we did it at lunch in between the morning and afternoon session, but it was just took too long, and the afternoon group got started late. So this year we are going to try to do that the night before at a pairings party and maybe even offer up a raffle or two for some of the players to maybe play with them in your foursome. So we'll have more details on that coming out here. So let's hear one more quote from Jeff Linder. About 15 minutes till tip-off. Jeff Linder talked about that elevation. And again, Boise State 6-1. And don't forget, Jeff Linder used to coach as an assistant at Boise State, so he's well aware of the success they've had there. Make sure you check him out. Jeff Linder, the full interview's on the pregame show, but you can hear part of it here right now.
Obviously, I mean, the 7,000 feet, the 7,220, that plays a huge part. Now, obviously, for my time in Boise, Leon's always done a really good job of not allowing that to impact his team. I mean, Boise over the course of, since, he's been there in 2010 and when we started coming here in 2012, 13, I mean, Boise's always played well here. And I think a lot of that just has to do with not allowing the altitude to be an excuse. And that's, Leon's done a really good job of not letting that be an excuse.
Yeah, he's got the elevation machine and
and I know what that elevation machine is. It's just the fan. It's just the fan that dries the floor when the floor gets wet. So,
some players back in the day fall for it though.
Oh, I mean, there was a few guys that were first probably thinking, "What is this?" But that's the beauty of Leon. That's what makes him great, is that he can find a way to make a situation where people are looking at it, try to find excuses, and he'll find a way. The beet juice. I'm sure they're loading up on the beet juice right now.
He says people stole it, though. He says that he was the first one to do that. Now everyone else is doing it. They're stealing his ideas, so he's going to keep them quiet here.
Yeah, he should have got a copyright or a trademark on that. But that's obviously, like I said, they've done a good job. He's done a really good job of coming. Like I said, but that's the main thing, is just the mentality. I think there's a lot of teams that come into Laramie that they're already beat before they got here, just because whether they're complaining about the altitude, the weather, whatever. And so that's where, obviously, I know that's not going to be the case with Boise come Saturday.
Again, Boise State 6-1 in their last 7 games here, 9-4 overall against Wyoming and Laramie since Leon Rice took over as head coach. Somebody joked that I'm sitting at about 72.50. Oh, I'm guessing it's higher than that. I'm probably at 72.70 maybe. I'm higher up than that. Yeah, it's a ways up here. And again, for those of you back in the Boise area, the game is airing on KTVB Channel 7 here in about 15 minutes. So the game is on the Mountain West Network, but they also are picking up the feed here on KTVB, so you can watch it on KTVB News Channel 7. That's not ketchup. I believe it's hand sanitizer behind me there. No. But we got 138 of you watching right now. I really appreciate that. Thank you. Thank you all for watching. Thank you to Lithia Ford of Boise. Again, check them out, lithiafordboise.com, rowpaint.com, our title sponsor. All your painting needs, make sure you support Row Paint. Commercial, industrial, concrete coatings. They can redo your basement, your garage, your back patio. They've done it twice on our house, and we love it. And again, there would be no Bronco Nation news without rowpaint.com, so help them out if you can. And perfect night for some Cutwaters. 5:30 game on a Saturday. They got more than 35 flavors of pre-mixed premium cocktails. Pick up a Cutwater. Cutwater Spirits, the sponsors of our studios. Our mobile studios on the road here in Laramie. On the post-game show, we're going to be down courtside. We'll be down by the court post-game show, so we'll move down there for the game. But come on back. About 5-10 minutes after the game. We'll be back pretty quickly on the road, about 10 minutes after the game. Leon Rice will join us live. A couple of players will join us live. Again, make plans right after the game. YouTube, Facebook, and X to join us on the Lithia Ford of Boise post-game show. Big one for Boise State. The Broncos trying to avoid that bad quad 3 loss, trying to stay in contention for a Mountain West title. And they need a big win tonight over the Wyoming Cowboys to start this 2-game road trip. Appreciate you guys for checking us out. Thanks so much. Again, go subscribe if you can. $50 using that promo code BNN50 deal. At a minimum, please subscribe to our YouTube channel. Turn on the notifications so you can see when we go live for our shows, such as the post-game show. Facebook, Twitter, we'd love to have you join us and subscribe to those channels as well. We do have the monthly option, $6.99 if the $50 option is too steep for you. But, again, appreciate you guys. Enjoy the game. Go grab a Cutwater. Go grab some Taco Bell. And we'll talk to you about 10 minutes after the game ends, so be ready. What are we going to be talking about? Big win for Boise State, hopefully, right? We'll talk to you guys in a couple of hours. Enjoy the game. It's coming up here in about 10 minutes. From the Arena-Auditorium in Laramie, this is BJ Rains, and this has been the Lithia Ford of Boise pregame show from the Cutwater Studios here in Laramie, Wyoming.
When I want Boise State to win, I trust Coach Rice to lead the Broncos to victory.
And when I want the best painting and garage floor coating, I trust rowpaint.com to get that job done right.
Get ready for the time of your life at Circa Resort and Casino, Las Vegas's newest destination for fun, featuring the world's biggest poolside tailgate party with 3 levels of action, 6 pools, and a 143-foot screen. The fun is always on deck with all the games all year long. Stadium Swim, located in downtown Las Vegas on Fremont Street. Book the time of your life today at circalasvegas.com.
Pow day. Dude, let's go.
Hey, Hey, Forrest here. Nothing like getting paid. And with ICCU's mobile app, I can deposit checks or accept Zelle payments so the money hits my account fast. I just wish there was an app for mowing the rest of these lawns.